The new game mode Ascension is one of the more complicated game modes that has been made by Riot thus far, and upon a fairly overwhelming request, here is a general breakdown of the game mode as well as some tips and tricks to help you get an edge. Now, Ascension is a game mode that I find to be most comparable to a team deathmatch-esque style. The first team to 200 points wins. You get 1 point for a kill, 3 points for capturing a relic, and 5 points for killing the beefed up Xerath in the middle. If you kill the Xerath, you also get an absolutely massive buff. However, while you have the buff, you are revealed to your opponents at all times. And in addition, while you have the buff, you get 2 points for a kill instead of 1 point. And if someone kills the person with the buff, they get 5 points. And then Xerath will respawn after a short time. Now, there's a few key things that make this game mode pretty interesting. The first being that the entire map, except for Xerath in the middle and the relics, are in the fog of war. It's incredibly easy to hide, juke, and surprise people out of nowhere. In addition, there's speed and health power-ups across the map too. Also, there's no recalling or potions, so the only source of health from the map are the health relics, and killing Xerath, who will, after you kill him, make you invulnerable for a few seconds and then heal you up to full health. And champion kills and everything else will give you absolutely 0 gold. Instead, everyone gets a passive 5 gold per second, so this means that every single champion in the game has the exact same amount of gold at all times throughout all phases of the game, barring things like gold per 10 runes and stuff like that. So comebacks happen all the time and are a real possibility, and games are pretty much always close. And lastly, the map is entered by teleporting to a point on the edge that is your color, and you cannot shop until you die. Now, a few major things to note is that, first, I like how the big Xerath gives teams something major to fight over, and the way they handled gold on the map is also really nice. Also note that when Xerath spawns, and when you leave invulnerability after killing him, a big explosion that pushes everyone back happens to make sure that that target isn't instantly killed upon spawning. However, in the end, it really kind of just comes down to team deathmatch, with the relics and Xerath simply just being something to fight over. 60 to 80% of your points are going to come from kills anyways, and this means that a lot of champions are really weak in this game mode, and a lot are really strong. I highly recommend picking strong skirmishers or duelists, as teams with champions that have a hard time fighting on their own tend to just fall flat due to a lack of damage. But there are quite a few champions that excel, as well as some champions that do a great job of abusing the fog of war. However, the anti-snowball mechanics in place allow this to be a fairly close match almost every single time, assuming that you pick at least somewhat of a reasonable composition. Now, as far as I can tell, despite the huge buff that gives you massive CDR, AP, AD health, as well as unlimited mana and the lower health costs on abilities, it doesn't actually give you that many points. There's no real reliable source of healing other than the health relic, so both teams are pretty much guaranteed to get 5 points in the end from the resulting buff either way. The only difference is the bonus points that you get and how you use the buff that will give you an edge. But it's important to note that you only get the extra bonus point when you have the buff if you, having the buff, gets the killing blow. So it ends up being you're only going to get a few points from it at the most. That, and how often you cap relics, is often what decides the game in close matches, which tends to be a majority of them. But either way, the game mode is a pretty amazing way to practice skirmishing on champions, as well as just team fighting mechanics overall, and it can get pretty intense if it's a close game by the end. I personally will be using this game mode as a fun way to practice fighting, as well as skill shots on some champions, and I'd recommend for others to do the same. My name is Jeremy, and that's everything you need to know about Ascension. I recently just moved into my dorms at UC Berkeley, and so my internet now is really good, so I'm going to be streaming a lot. So be sure to check me out over at twitch.tv/Jeremy_GamingCurios. Be sure to stay connected at facebook.com/GamingCurios, drop a like, share this video, and make sure to subscribe for some more awesome content in the future. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.